Welcome, Andy.
Jason, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here with you and talk about innovation in this industry. So let's dive in. So, now that we're post-pandemic, we found that industrial production and capacity utilization globally has surpassed pre-pandemic levels, but it's left leaders with a new challenge. And that's really just to overall recover from the damage that was done pre-pandemic, but also how do they best prepare for the disruption, the unknown disruption, by future-proofing their operations. And there are really three challenges that we see across this. And of course, also for adopting Industry 4.0 innovations in general. And the first one being that there are continuous disruptions to global supply chain. While it's not this one-time event, there's a long tail to this as well. And there's low adaptability to the changing demand globally. Rising costs, freight costs, raw materials are causing continuous challenges. The second being the workforce has changed based on the pandemic as well. There are a record number of unfilled jobs in all industries, but particularly in this one. This is creating low flexibility of work schedules and is ultimately limiting the productivity of organizations long term. And the last being, there is an ever-changing landscape of interaction between customers, partners, and employees, their expectations of the industry and the firms within them, their expectations of their own employers, and their interaction with their jobs has created a lot of complexity for organizations internal to their operations. So our friends at Gartner as well have helped looking at this, or what are the things that are needed? What are the approaches to take to satisfy those challenges and break through? Well, if we look left to right, one of the first ones is this concept of intelligent composable business operations. This composability, if you will, and we'll unpack this more as we proceed through the presentation, allows organizations to be faster at adoption and really adjusting to the changing landscape outside of their organization. The second being hyper automation. There are numerous areas of the business that are ripe for this extreme automation, if you will, whether that be CRM or PRM, but from the top to the bottom of the organization is an area that if everyone addresses will have major impact. And the third being taking a total experience view, right? It's not just about the customer or the employee, it's giving a total view of these experiences across the organization end to end. So I'd like to do a thought experiment and have you step back for a moment and imagine what if, right? What if you were able to empower your knowledge workers to actually build the digital workflows that they understood they needed in the moment in their experience, or to engage your partners, your employees, your customers in a whole new way and be able to actually take that idea to life. And of course, we all look to move faster than our competition. This is a little easy question, right? Of course, we'd all want to do that. And then lastly, align end to end the technology, the workflows to bring a simplified implementation across the entire organization. So the idea here of making workflow automation easy, all the things that we've just talked about, the answer lies within no code. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So when I joined the technology workforce, you really only had one option. It was custom software development. And we brought around the idea of packaged applications. Enterprise software came in. And ever since then, there really hasn't been any major innovation brought to technology. We've we've changed our commercial model when we've looked at SaaS and we've said we can make it easier to get in and out of software. But the trade-off has always been, do I custom build something, which is exactly what I want and need, but has all the complications of time and cost and energy? Or do I trade off and say, this is going to be some other organizations' challenge. They specialize in this, but now I'm sacrificing also the roadmap, the direction, getting exactly what I need. When you introduce no code, this is the first major and significant innovation to software and technology delivery. And this literally brings together the best parts and removes all of the worst parts. Imagine being able to deliver exactly what you want and need in a fast time, low cost of ownership delivery package that aligns with exactly that thought experiment of what do I want and need. It actually is more closely aligned because it allows your business users to be a critical component and not translate these requirements to some other organization to build out. So as we look at bringing these concepts together, right? Again, continue that thought experiment with me. If you bring together the concept of no code, of building applications rapidly without the need for developing at a detailed level, and you bring that together with workflow automation, well, this yields hyperautomation and personalization. I can make exactly what that organization, that customer, that employee needs. If I bring together the idea of no-code AI modeling, if I am democratizing these areas that were once the purview of only the data scientists, and I bring that together and with embedded intelligence, I now can create invisible and seamless processes. By the same token, no UI and UX, no code UI and UX is saying, I want to draw on the screen exactly what's in my head. This is how I want this to look like. And I want to do that with a shared database underneath that says, I want to see what that individual's interaction was at every point of the process. I now have total experience. If you bring that together, again, application management, these powers aren't just for the business user. If I make it easier for IT, right, to have the world of how do I bring my integrations together and manage all these applications, and I do that with not just the applications, but also the workflows. Now you've entered that world of I have composable, reusable parts. I don't have to do something every time over again. I can draw from that library and reuse that in a widget-based, element-based. And it makes both IT and businesses world much, much easier. And then, of course, lastly, if I'm empowering that citizen developer, if you will, think of that business analyst in that part of the business who has the art of the possible combined with understanding what the need is. And now I've brought business and IT alignment together. This is how organizations reach across the board digital transformation. This is why Gartner is so embracing of all of these technologies that we've shared. And truly, this is when I say no code is the path forward. It is an element of all of these transformation components to bring that total transformation to life.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I think there's some really good insights into a lot of the things that not only us, but other analysts in the market are looking at. Now, let's talk a little bit for a minute about how Creatio fits into all of this. And if we think about it, there's a million different things inside the manufacturing world that can be touched by the power of low code. Now, I'm not going to dig through a lot of these things, but if we think about it, there are so many different stops along the supply chain and the value chain that can use the power or leverage the power of low code technology. And as you see on the screen here, it's across the board. Maybe it's in the production environment, order intake, or it could be in quality and issue management. I know we've worked with a great partner recently to help do a quality and issue management within a warehouse and distribution network. Maybe it's in product manufacturing or product management, taking that IoT data off of wearables and incorporating that into the product lifecycle from a data standpoint. How are people using our products? How is that getting used in the field? And how can we better engineer our products to meet that customer's need in the future? And of course, when it comes to supply chain, track and trace, inventory visibility, the movement of goods and services throughout the supply chain, having visibility into that through the use of things like IoT sensors or through IoT if it's in the manufacturing sector, understanding how those things can be moving and where that hits the or impacts the supply chain, hugely valuable to today's manufacturing world. So let's talk about a couple of these specifically. Let's think about marketing and promotion. So if you think about marketing and promotion, you can more accurately target your products and services to a specific demographic. Maybe that means direct email. Maybe that means omni-channel campaigns. Today, consumers are absorbing information in so many different ways. Could be email, could be text message. There's a variety of ways that customers choose to interact today. Having the available information to be able to do that just enhances your marketing team's capability to be able to talk to those clients in the form and fashion that they want. Ultimately, that leads to better lead generation, which impacts the sales pipeline. Speaking of sales, sales and distribution, right? Helping data to increase the sales pipeline, increase win rates, enjoying that customer 360 view so that we can better be informed of how to interact with our customers, how we can boost the efficiency of field sales reps in the B2B world. All of these things are things that can be powered through the use of data. Now, again, whether that's IoT data or even a feedback loop from the manufacturing cell that says, here's the status of your production environment. I always go back to a company that started doing lot size 1 or lot size 0 manufacturing. The ability to see where that order is in the manufacturing process, invaluable if you start talking to your customers. Quote to cash, right? The ability to quickly, easily manage the quote to cash process, the ability to take the order in, understand, configure the order to best meet the customer's needs, and then management of that order through the entire pipeline, and ultimately leading to quicker, easier cash collection by automating invoice processes. It not only helps you deliver in a timely order, more accurate and more on time fulfillment, but it also helps you interact with your customers, or even streamlines the interaction with your customers to help in the cash flow process for invoice management. You can easily see, track, and monitor and interact with your customers throughout that entire process using the power of low-code. Customer support. As we know, the manufacturing, B2B, and B2C world, customer support has changed because of the pandemic. Customers expect quicker, more easy communications, and expect real-time visibility as to the status of their open item, whether that's an omni-channel help desk, some sort of automation within the warranty or RMA process, or engaging in customers in a new way, not just through having to have the customer pick up a phone and call into a contact center. We talked about it earlier through omni-channel communications, text, chat. WhatsApp is big for a lot of our international customers. The ability to do these things ultimately helps drive customer satisfaction, driving an increase in NPS, and ultimately retaining customers longer. And then the couple more that we want to talk about here, production management. Now, people are going to say, well, why is production management so important? And production management and procurement kind of go hand in hand. And I'm going to start on the front side, which is the procurement, and I'm going to get into the production management a little bit further. But the production management and the procurement go hand in hand. You have to have your long-range planning schedule, right? Whether, depending on what ERP system you use, some of them call it a master production schedule, some of them call it a long-range production plan. Depending on what you're using, the idea is the same. So in order to meet your production planning, you have to have both a short-term and a long-term vision, which then is going to lead into procurement, right? Understanding what you need to do to order your raw materials, making sure that you have visibility as to when those are going to arrive. Decades ago, we all moved to just-in-time planning and just-in-time processing for our production plans. Why? We didn't want to have a lot of inventory sitting around. We didn't want to have a lot of scrap. How do we deal with that? By integrating, driving, the real-time order processing with our vendors. We've co-located with them, but how do we share that information? How do we easily give them visibility into our forecast? How do we orchestrate this in a more efficient manner so that we can meet that just-in-time need for our production management? Then once we've got the materials and we're in the production world, how do we manage that? How do we allocate the resources, whether that be people, time for allocation on machines, or for managing the raw material inbound, which I talked about a minute in the procurement process? How do we drive all of those things in the most efficient manner? How do we gain visibility through IoT data that Heinrich talked about earlier? How do we gain that visibility in our day-to-day business and in our operations so that we don't have downtime, so that we don't impact our production schedule? All of these things can be driven in real time so that you can look at these things, drive new workflows. Imagine a scenario where you've got a line that's had to shut down because you've got a robot that's down, right? We got these great robots in our background today. Many of us work with these every single day. Well, what happens if that goes down? It takes your whole line down. Having the early visibility to those and having the ability to quickly replan, reforecast, shift your production schedule, and have that visibility can ultimately help you drive higher throughput on your overall production processing. And that's just, again, some examples of what we can do with the increased data and the power of Industry 4.0. So ultimately, the last one I want to talk about is supply chain management. We all know that the pandemic has thrown a tizzy into the world of supply chain, right? The ability to see, track, and manage all of our shipments, whether those are outbound or inbound, providing that visibility to our customers. How many times have we sat and had our customers call us and say, where is my tracking number, or where is my shipment? Typically that requires somebody to go pick that phone call, then hop into an ERP system or hop into a transportation system. Creatio brings the ability to bring all that visibility into one platform. Your contact center, your data tracking, integrations with your ERP and TMS system, so that the contact center agent or your customer care representative can have all that visibility in one single platform. So these are just a few of the ideas. And Andy, I want to kick this back to you a little bit more, and I want to talk about how Creatio's one platform idea and how our platform really fits into today's modern world of manufacturing.
Well, it was an amazing walkthrough, Jay. So thank you so much. Those were a lot of ideas. And I think that hopefully the message comes through is that all of these challenges can be addressed, and Creatio is a solution that ties us all together. And so you see on the screen here, this concept that we talk about, and you heard Jason mention, one platform. We bring this all together in one unified platform, which means everything from the underlying database, those composable, reusable parts, so that you're never coming in and out of a system. This does not mean that Creatio needs to be the system of record for everything that you do. We can easily integrate bidirectionally with them, but we have built this no-code platform for no-code creation of applications, automation of workflows, business processes. And on top of that, as Jason has articulated, we have built industry-leading CRM, sales, marketing, service that are already a part of this solution and able to be taken advantage of and configured for a customer's direct personal needs. Again, we want this to be enabled by you. Industry workflows that are pre-built for specific functions, as well as new ones that you will create on your own. And then, of course, how do you make this ultimately extensible? Is by having a wide array of marketplace templates, add-ons, connectors. We don't need to recreate the wheel for everything. You need e-signature. You need, some other element of some a connector to some third-party system, or you see Twilio for omni-channel communication across all of your organizations that you interact with. This is there for you to leverage up and accelerate everything that you wish to bring to life. Now, it is super important that everyone understand that one of our core principles at Creatio is genuine care. And we say that often, but what does it mean? This is way more than a marketing line for us. This was actually a core principle of our business, and something that a consultant didn't arrive with. This was derived and told to us back from our customers, our partners, and our employees. This is not a traditional enterprise software approach where you're treated arm's length. We seek to understand the challenges of our customers. We want to help deliver on the value of what their intent was, and to be there every step of the way, because we stand behind everything we do, and we want to build truly long-term relationships and put the people first.
Andy, I think that was a great summary of everything that we wanted to talk about today. And I appreciate everybody in the audience being here today. Andy, I thank you. As our Chief Sales Officer in Americas, you're a very busy man, and we greatly appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining, everybody. Look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of the day.